What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestlegamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Time Tenshi 2 Special Edition right here on the arcade. On the last episode, we found out that Tessa likes to do most of her computer work without her shirt on. Yeah, that's all I can say. But anyway, Rose expressed some concerns about what's going on with Bunny and Mizuki before bringing us some deed, and now we have a meeting to get to. Once we were inside, we found that Tensei, Kyo, and Tessa were already there. Michelle's projection was being generated by the communicator on Kyo's wrist. Hey, Kenji, how you feeling? Okay, I guess, though I've been better. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I feel like something the cat dragged in and forgot to spit out. I think we all feel much the same. I've never been fond of all-nighters. But nonetheless, our efforts weren't wasted. Michelle? I looked over what we had in Mizuki's diary, and while we lost some bits of it, there was enough of it intact for me to find out what's going on. Just like before the change in time, Mizuki and Bunny had heard rumors about the time window, and they started looking for it. But unlike before, there were self-repair systems in place to maintain the lab even after everyone was gone, and the systems had been modified to draw power from... Michelle visibly shuddered, and the rest of us shifted about uncomfortably as we thought about her fate. Let's try to reassure Michelle, and let's ignore it. Don't worry, Michelle, it's going to be alright somehow. I mean, I'm sure you won't end up like that. I guess I'm just making it worse. Sorry. No thanks, Kenji, I appreciate it. Honestly, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Michelle gulped and shook her head quickly before continuing. With almost all of the systems functioning and with full power, it was easy for Bunny and Mizuki to make what repairs were needed and reactivate the time window and the rest of the systems. They also found me, but there was no record of my name, so... But most importantly, they found the information in the computer that would allow them to use the time window and the rest of the equipment without having to contact anyone for help. But still, what are they up to? The same thing they were up to in the original timeline. Finding a way to use the time window to rewrite history and prevent their world from turning out the way it did. So, they're going to create another paradox? But how? We already saw what happened to you! How are they going to change the past without everything blowing up in their faces? It's all part of the simulations and theories in those files. They want to create a quantum casualty loop with a Mobius permutation. Huh? Anybody care to translate that bit of techno-babble? Don't look at me, I'm bilingual and I still don't understand a word of it. Okay, let me try that again, guys. By using two time windows, or actually the same time window just in different times, it should be possible to create a fairly stable wormhole that links our two times. So then any changes we made in the past world would immediately rewrite the future without collapsing the timeline. Whoa. You see, Mizuki and Bunny were working on building a third time window in their time. A much larger and more powerful version of our own time window. Huh? A third time window? I couldn't believe what Michelle was saying. Once they set the quantum casualty loop into action, all they need to do is release a large amount of quantum energy into the point where the disasters of their world happened. Then they could use the third time window to apply the Mobius permutation. They could directly influence events in that time without having to go back themselves. Of course, all of this is highly theoretical, unproven and extremely dangerous. Maybe so, old man, but those simulations seem pretty convincing to me. I mean, no offense, but it sounds pretty complicated to me. Alright, so they're working on creating this permutation loop or whatever it was that you called it. But what does that have to do with Nefertiti? What were Bunny and Mizuki doing in Palanque? Glad you asked, Rose. It's because according to these files, all three time windows involved had to be enhanced with what they called 4D lenses. 4D lenses? What are those? From what the files were saying, they were a kind of focusing device which channels and directs fourth dimensional energy. They're a bridge between the third and fourth dimensions. And my guess is that Bunny and Mizuki were in Palanque because their time window detected chrono crystals there, the ones Kyo found on Bunny. Okay, and chrono crystals are? Chronocrystals are basically the result of our third-dimensional matter being heavily exposed to the forces of time travel. Apparently, with enough exposure to time travel, chronocrystals can form from matter. It's something like how diamonds are created under heat and pressure.
So all the Chronotech girls know is that they need 4D lenses. And more importantly, the files they found included the specifications of the chronocrystals as well as how to refine them into 4D lenses. So now they're focusing on finding as many chronocrystals as possible to upgrade both their current time window and the larger one they're building.
Right, so these chronocrystals are pretty valuable. There's more grants to control the forces unleashed by the quantum casualty loop, or take either an incredibly advanced computer or a living being that has been heavily exposed to the forces of time travel. I felt a chill running up my spine as realization spread across the faces of the girls.
Neferuri?
Exactly. Originally they had hoped to use my future counterpart's brain to make this work, but that was obviously impossible. But then their time window found a girl in the past who had an energy signature like mine, though a lot weaker. That's why they went to Egypt. So the royal pain in the tut was somehow mutated by time travel?
Okay, Michelle, so Mizuki and Bunny are building another time window for their plan. And they need these lenses and Neferuri to make it all work. But what about the quantum guards? Where do they fit into all this?
Other than being used to bend, strangle, and mutilate us. It turns out that they protect the wearer from the negative effects of time travel. Guess that includes the dangers of causing a time paradox. Basically, if I was wearing a quantum guard when the time window pulled me in, I might not have wound up where I am now.
Wow. What about the effects time travel has on the endocrine system? Would the quantum guard be able to insulate us from those as well?
Yes, to an extent.
What? No, you can't be serious, Michelle. No more big boobies?
Ah, just shut up about Kazangas, you dicks. Is that all you ever think about?
But...
Your breasts would still grow, but it wouldn't get as severe as, say, you went to Egypt.
So no more mega huge boobies?
Yo!
Let's try to assure Kyo about her curves. She is a gamer girl, after all. And we ignore... Kyo, I'm sure your acids will still grow. I mean...
Tenshi, don't encourage her.
No, I mean, sorry if that sounds like a weird thing to say, but it seems like it's something that's important to you. So just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Tenshi. Thanks, hehe.
Anyway, quantum guards can also reinforce the quantum sheets that keep you in the past or future once you're there. So that's why our weapons didn't work on Neferuri?
Exactly. What's worse, the quantum guards have several assault modes.
Ooh, sounds good. What do they do?
We haven't been able to decipher everything they can do since the files we got from the future were incomplete. But I found something about a kind of hyper-evolution function in Mizuki's journal, as well as a total body amplification function. Uh-oh. Great. They get even more ways to smash our faces in. I have to admit that I wasn't looking forward to our next encounter with Bunny and Mizuki. Okay, so is there any chance that we can build quantum guards of our own? I mean, we already have the one, as well as crystals to make it into a 4D lenses, so... I think so, yeah, the quantum guard we have is incomplete, but we did manage to get the complete schematics in the upload. And from what we can tell, we do have enough crystals to make at least a few 4D lenses.
Great denial!
Hold on, Kyo, there's just one problem. While we got the basic operating system from the future, the programs for the guards' assault modes were corrupted. They're useless to us. Ah, fantastic.
Can't we try to make them work? If we run into Neferuri or the others again, we might need those assault modes ourselves. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Unless the guards were programmed exactly right, using one of the assault modes would likely be fatal. And it seems like that the opposition has been very busy, both with planning their next move and gathering enough materials for their new time window and 4D lenses.
Right, according to the general, they've already secured a large amount of both. Apparently, a large number of chrono crystals emerged from the fourth dimensional plane somehow in the Bermuda Triangle. It happened centuries in the future, but 10 years in their past.
Which means that any attempt by us to try and find them would result in you being beaten again, maybe even killed. And we don't even have the chance to try and fight them unless their search for more chrono crystals carries them far enough back in time.
Right, Gramps, and once they have everything in place, they only have one thing left to do.
Well, what's that?
They have to use our time window to create their quantum casualty loop.
What?
So, wait. What you're saying is that they have to come here? They have to use our time window to make this whole thing work? Right, Kenji, but without our exact coordinates, they can't be certain when exactly they need to come here in order to take full advantage of the loop. They'll have to contact us and make an arrangement in order to use our time window. Oh yeah, sure, that could happen. Though personally, I think it's much more likely that they could use the records from our upload to pinpoint our times, storm the lab, all pumped up, and then mash us all into chunky salsa so they can blow up the entire universe in peace.
Which is why we can't afford to take that risk. Fortunately, we do have an option against it.
What's that, Tensei?
As we've already established, the 4D lenses can be used to generate a powerful field. Too powerful for your weapons to be able to break through it. So if we had enough of them, we should be able to use them in conjunction with the time window to project a quantum shield around the entire lab complex. A shield that's powerful enough to prevent any intrusion by them here.
Wait a minute, a quantum shield?
That's right. Why, is there something wrong?
Rose didn't say anything to this. She just sat there, a suspicious look on her face, as her eyes shifted towards Tessa. I couldn't help but notice that the pink-haired girl had an insufferable, smug smirk on her face.
Don't say it, Tessa. Don't even think it.
What? You mean I told you so? Grr. Okay, so we might be able to shield the lab if we were able to get enough crystals to make the 4D lenses. So where do we find the crystals? Or when do we find them? That's the tricky part. According to the files, the crystals are in a state of constant flux, caught between the third and fourth dimensions. Then there's no way of telling when or where they will appear. Fortunately, we have the crystals grabbed, so we can scan the past for the same energy frequency. We should be able to detect them as soon as they emerge into the third dimension. With the scanners we've integrated with your new communicators, it should be easy to track the crystals down and secure them. Assuming that the gruesome twosome don't show up and pound us before we can grab them.
I wish I had the luxury of giving you all more time to heal, but we have to start looking for the crystals immediately. It's our only hope. Michelle, start scanning for the energy frequencies of the crystals. The rest of you, I suggest you get into your time suits and be ready. According to the files, there's no way of knowing how long the crystals remain in our plane of existence when they emerge. We need to be ready to move as soon as we detect any. Of course.
Right! On it, Tensei. With that, the three girls departed the experimental lab, leaving me and my grandfather. What about me? I mean, I know I didn't do a lot the last time, but I still want to help.
Of course, I want you to join the girls on this. Given that the time travel doesn't affect men the way it does them, we'll need you for this. It would be best for the girls to avoid overdoing it, if that's at all possible.
Okay, so?
For now, just go to your room and rest. The instant we pick up any crystals, we'll sound the alert.
Alright. I left the experimental lab and made my way to my room away from home. Once inside, I lay down on the bed. And like before, my thoughts and concerns niggled? That's like one typo away from being offensive. And pecked at me until at last sleep slowly drove them from my mind and sent me into the realm of dreams. I woke to the sound of the alarms blaring and red lights flashing, and before we go any further, guys and girls, we're going to go ahead and call it an episode. If you guys liked the video, be sure you slam that like button like a champ. If you guys want to see more of Time Tenshi 2 right here on the arcade, you know the way to do it. You gotta hit that subscribe button down below. So with that being said, I'm your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and I'll see you next time right here on WGS-TV. Bye, guys!